My name is Anatoly Motkin. I'm president of Strategist, the leading independent institution that develops digital economy in the Eurasian region. And today we have here our distinguished guests, Amy Pack, Jason, Jason, I forgot your surname.
Harman.
Yeah, and
Anatoly.
Nuria Kutnaeva, Minister of Digital Transformation from Kyrgyzstan. Jason is Senior Vice President of EPAM Systems, and Amy is many things besides her formal position, but she is actually the goddess of developing the knowledge-driven economy in the Eurasian region and beyond, and in the States and everywhere. And the first question I'll address to Jason as the topic today of this discussion is how we could build a digital bridge between Central Asia and Caucasus and the Gulf states, and specifically Qatar. We have talent in Central Asia and Caucasus that delivers products to global companies. We have also huge pipeline of successful startups in the region. And this is a huge opportunity again for the Gulf and specifically for Qatar to get this global level digital services from Central Asia and Caucasus, but also to invest into most promising startups in the region. And the first question to you, Jason, you Senior Vice President of EPAM. EPAM is a leading, literally leading international company, that engineering company that works in the region, and not only in the region of Eurasia where we're champions, but also in the Gulf. And you are not only Senior Vice President, you're also head of the Gulf operations in EPAM. How, from your perspective of the leading company, do you see this bridge between two regions, and what actually both regions benefit?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, we have EPAM Systems, are a global company, and I'm leading the business across the Gulf, including here in Qatar. And one of the things that we are challenged with as a software engineering company is really striking a balance for our clients of finding the right kind of talent that's proximate to our customer base, and obviously a price which is competitive with the rest of a global market, right? And so what we've found by utilizing this particular region, and actually more particularly Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan, is that kind of balance. So we have both. We find the people with the right kind of software engineering, math skills that are smart, know knowledge, and can, travel and are within the same time zone. If that answers your question.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. And to you, Minister, Kyrgyzstan was, not many people know, but you were the first country that started delivering products to international markets, even before your bigger neighbors. And if you would be able to, if you need to pitch companies in this country, in Qatar, how you would explain what are the advantages working with digital services companies in Kyrgyzstan?
Well, thank you, dear Anatoly. First of all, I would like to say that last year, distinguished Emir Tamimi came to Kyrgyzstan, and starting with this wonderful experience, we would like to work also with our Qatari businessmen. We would like to attract investors from Qatar to look at our Central Asian region. Look, we have many very good sites, like very high qualified IT specialists. And this is the region that is booming with digitalization. And therefore, let's come. We invite our Qatari and Arabic investors to come and to look first at the country, at Kyrgyzstan with its mountains and rivers, but at the same time, look at our terrain, digital terrain. We look what we can do. Here we have, in Kyrgyzstan, we have almost the time zone, almost the Qatar time zone first. Then we have highly qualified digital IT specialists, very highly qualified, of the Silicon Valley special level. Let's do. We have for many years we have educated our digital specialists, and now we have a very wonderful sphere, digital sphere. We have also IT park, high-tech park, which started, I think, in 2014, right, with $200,000, but it's doubling every year its turnover. And now, in the nearest future, we hope to have its turnover. It will be maybe about billion of US dollars. And we have a very favorable tax politics of high-tech park with 1%, only 1% of tax of turnover. If you come, then this will be also your very profitable job to work with us. So as a Minister of Digital Development, I invite your companies to come, your businesses, and you as owners to come to Kyrgyzstan, first to look at our mountains and rivers, wonderful rivers, but also to lead the businesses from Kyrgyzstan and from our Central Asian region. We are ready, and I personally also will be conducting you through our digital sphere.
Thank you so much. And it's important that you are present here. You're the first Central Asian Minister of Digital Transformation to be present at Qatar at this kind of event at Web Summit. And I assume that many local companies would be happy to accept your invitation and to visit Kyrgyzstan.
Thank you.
Amy, to you. We have experience working together in Georgia. We see working in other countries of Eurasia, in Central Asia and Caucasus. You have global expertise. You have also expertise here in the Gulf. How does it look from your VC perspective? What should be the common interest, the mutual interest between the Gulf and the Central Asia, that they will work together? It could be investments into pipeline there, or the soft landing of startups here. What's your take?
Yeah, I think, in the last decade, what I've seen is, the ecosystem being built. So, and that requirement for a hub of innovation requires government funding and focus, right? It requires education at the institutional level, so universities. And it requires, building this startup culture, but then you have to have enterprises available. So you have companies like EPAM who have recognized the talent that is coming up. But the startups as well are equally as valuable. And the one of the pieces that is missing is that kind of middle venture piece. There's great acceleration, there's great education, there are customers, but the venture is the piece, and that's where the opportunity is. So I would look at it in a couple of ways. I think for venture firms or even family offices investing in either a venture studio to work with a multitude of companies and shape the output, or come in, visit these countries. There are innovation hubs in so many of these cities. Go and meet the startups, and you'll see for yourself that the talent now is there and the opportunity is there. And these companies are just waiting to break out. They just need that push to get to the point where they can open up broader markets.
Thank you so much. And maybe one brief follow-up to you. Do you identify some mindset proximity between the two regions? Like, what makes the Central Asia and Caucasus, and again, most of the region, the Gulf and most of the countries of Central Asia and Caucasus are Muslim, but do you see any advantages of cultural proximity between the regions, or it doesn't matter when it comes to VC?
Well, what I see in the region is vision, and really looking at kind of global problems. We're not solving small problems. We're taking technology, we're using technology to solve energy issues, to solve climate issues. And that's really important. And I think a collaboration between the regions will really propel growth.
Thank you so much. And Jason, back to you. So if we take the Eurasian region, or specifically Central Asia and Caucasus, you have offices also in Azerbaijan and Armenia, sorry, in Georgia and Armenia. And what actually were the challenges developing your operations there? And what actually experience that you take from there and you could replicate it here in the Gulf?
So, so what are the challenges specifically of developing that kind of industry and talent, and how would we bring that there? So I think one of the main challenges that we have as EPAM, so we've been into many countries, and we've looked to foster like a software engineering industry within those countries, is making sure that the talent that you have in those regions is ready specifically for professional work. So you may get science graduates, or you may get computer science graduates who come into the industry, but they don't necessarily have the professional skills that you need to work with Silicon Valley or with Wall Street or whomever it might be. So we invest a lot in the education of those people. So working actually directly with universities and providing online education, etc., to make sure that people are ready. And so I think that how we'll bring that knowledge specifically to this region is that we're looking to do similar things, where we'll bring that kind of level of education and professional kind of qualification to people locally. And I think I think there was a comment about what is it about the character that you might learn, why it might suit, if I might answer that question as well, if I may. I think that specifically in the Gulf, in Qatar and the other region, is that, yeah, there's vision, but there's also hunger, which translates into a very demanding business environment and customer base. So I think that specifically from our regions, like from the minister's country, is that people who are really sort of dedicated and prepared to work hard in where there's ambiguity is a quality that you don't necessarily get in Western Europe and the US as much. And so that's to be commended in those regions, and we've definitely seen that, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Jason. And you several times mentioned the word region. And region-wise, we know that Kyrgyzstan is a land of talented people, but it's part of bigger region of Central Asia. And how could you perceive, like, two questions to you, Minister. First, could Kyrgyzstan become a gateway for Gulf, for Qatar specifically, to work with the entire region of Central Asia, or it should be perceived specifically bilateral Kyrgyzstan to Qatar, Kyrgyzstan to other countries in the region?
Thank you, Anatoly. Your question is to the point. Actually, Kyrgyzstan can be the very hub of innovation, but it's the door to the Central Asian region and the greater region of CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States. So yes, to say in a nutshell, this will be the door, or Kyrgyzstan is the door, innovation door to the Central Asian, bigger Central Asian region. And not only Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, but also take Mongolia and other surrounding countries. Why not? So we are ready to meet new investors, new people, not only from Gulf, but also from all over the world, because we have a place and we have many innovation minds of people who are actually residing in Bishkek, but working for the whole globe.
Thank you so much. And actually, it was the slogan that was invented, I believe, by Aziz Bakirov, live in Kyrgyzstan, work with the whole world, right?
Yes.
And Amy, back to you. The universities. The universities are, we always say in strategies that the universities are our main partner in all the countries, not the governments, not the companies. The source of talent are universities. What should be the role of universities on this maybe trans-regional academic exchange, how they could actually contribute to this trans-regional collaboration in digital sphere?
Well, I think what I've seen, and I can speak to like Caucasus University. We have a good friend who's the CEO there. They're limber. They've been able to, we have discussions 1 year, and then the next year they start to implement new programs. And they don't necessarily need to be degree programs initially. It's about introducing the concepts of entrepreneurship, how to create a startup. My focus is more on startup than just the individual talent, because they already have the computer science. They already have the business schools. What we want to do is combine those two things and bring entrepreneurship in as sort of the third leg of the stool. And these programs can start small, and they're fairly well documented, so they can find an easy path to bring students into this entrepreneurship program, and then they go to the innovation hubs, and then we have mechanisms that you and I have worked on to be able to get them investment and get them ready to be in front of investors. And we even bring investors from Silicon Valley. And one of the things that I've seen, and I've been in Silicon Valley for a long time, not from there, I'm from the East Coast, but it's not the center of innovation. There's a level of sophistication in Silicon Valley that has given them the advantage, over many, many years. But innovation is coming from everywhere, and it doesn't matter the size of the market. And I would argue that in smaller emerging markets, there is more hunger. There's more of that, and we can say the word less entitled.
Yeah, less entitled.
And there's just no entitlement. There's just a hunger, and you combine hunger with vision and a little bit of capital, and I think you've got something magical happening.
Wonderful.
Thank you for this. And before we wrap up this session, a question to Jason. One of our concerns always when we introduce companies like yours into the region is actually if we do not contribute to brain drain from the region. And when you connect countries which are not as wealthy as other ones who become their customers, how actually you balance this threat of brain drain from a less wealthy region to a more wealthy region? You as a company that have offices in both.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that how we do it and our motivation, let me talk about our motivation for that not happening in the first place. So quite plainly, part of our economic model is that we don't want talent, that hardworking, unentitled talent, to go to somewhere which is much more expensive for us. It's not in our or our clients' interests for that to happen. So that's first and foremost. We have a motivation to do it. And then how do we do it? Well, we invest in the people. We create a kind of an environment and a working culture and infrastructure that allows people to grow personally in exactly the same way that they would in any other country in the world. And then as a S&P 500 company, we're bringing Fortune 1000 clients. And so we bring incredibly interesting work and engagements. So if you can have a rewarding job, you can work on really exciting projects, you can get well paid, and you have a structured career, but your cost of living is much less, and you're near your extended family, then people stay. There's no more magic than that.
Thank you so much, Jameson, Nuria, and Amy. And again, working properly, we could connect both regions, Central Asia, Caucasus, and the Gulf, to a digital single market, as Europeans have their digital single market, based on entrepreneurial skills and aspirations from this region, and also technological skills accrued in Central Asia and Caucasus. And thank you so much for assisting us in this important thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.